Welcome back, nail queens. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different because I want to play with a new tool that I've never used before, but it's been around on the market for quite a while, and I want to use it with dip powder. So I'm making a set of press-ons, a brown set of press-ons, and I wanted to play around with making French tips for these press-ons, and I wanted to see if this French tip cutting tool would make it easier for me to do French tips and if they would look perfect. So what I did is I dipped the press-on nail in this like sheerish pink dip powder, and then I'm using this tool right here to cut out the shape of the French smile line. This is usually used with acrylic powder before the monomer and the acrylic powder set and harden completely, which is why I'm doing it so soon in this process after applying base and dipping in the dip powder. It is, for the first time, like not that easy to use in my opinion. Also, it doesn't help that I'm doing this on a press-on nail and not my own nail, so I feel like I have less control over the tip, but alas, I'm going to keep trying and see how this turns out. So I plan on making 2 of these press-on nails French tips, and I wanted to make them brown French tips, so that's why I'm doing this and testing out this tool while I still have the idea of doing a French smile line right now. So on the second dip, it is looking to be a little bit easier. I don't know if that's because I have more dip powder, so it's easier to cut through, but the motions that I'm doing on this tip is I take that cutter and I push and then I pull. So like I push down into the dip powder so it cuts like a cookie cutter would, and then I pull it away, trying to remove any of the dip powder that I don't want to be in that smile line. Then I apply base right directly on top of what dip powder is left, and then I dip in the powder again, repeating the process a total of 3 times per nail. So I got to do this about 6 times because I had 2 nails, 3 times per nail. So I think I got a little bit decent practice, but I will say it still is like a lot of work. I don't know if I prefer this method or just dipping in the jar of dip powder. I do like how precise and angled of a smile line you can get with this, but it definitely isn't easy. So I'm applying activator right now so it hardens the clearish pink so that I can go in and put in the brown dip powder where the smile line is supposed to be. So I'm going to repeat this same step on the other nail because I'm doing 2 of these tips like this, and then I'm going to repeat the rest off camera because it is pretty redundant and boring, but I'll come back when it's completely done. Alright, so I'm back. The right nail looks a lot neater, turned out a lot better, and the left one is a lot lumpier and bumpier. So it really shows you the different variety of outcomes you can get with this. So I dusted everything off and I'm going to activate the nail so that the entire dip powder, like the brown dip powder, everything hardens together so that it's hard enough for me to file shape and buff without like having gummy dip powder and then ruining everything, because that's happened to me before. So I'm going to let this set and then I'm going to file shape and buff. I'm going to be using this blue sponge buffer that I got off of Amazon. I'll link it below if you guys want to try it out. I really like this sponge buffer because it has a very smooth side and then a rough side. So I'm using the rougher side right now on top of the surface of the nail. That's this side. The smooth side is the part that has the writing on it. And I'm using the rougher side to really just like debulk any of the lumps and bumps, but I'm using the stiffer hand file right here from Gigi's custom dip powders to just sharpen the free edge area and get any rough edges off of there. But I really like the sponge buffer for getting the top of the nail, debulking and smoothing out everything nice. And then when I'm done smoothing everything out, then I take the softer side of the sponge buffer and I just buff it out so that it removes any scratches that might be visible. So I only did 2 nail tips as you saw throughout the video. I did find this process to be very, very tedious and long. So I don't know if I would recommend this French tip smile line cutter. I might give it another try sometime in the future, but it is a lot of extra steps. However, that is a pretty nice smile line that I've achieved here, something I normally wouldn't be able to get if I was using a French dipping tray or dipping into the jar of dip powder myself. So it's a trade-off. It's a little bit extra work, but it gets you a nice, crisp, clean line. Alright, so I'm just about done filing, shaping, and buffing. I do need to wipe everything off and clean the nails with rubbing alcohol so you can really see the design. I feel like I missed a little bit of one edge on the tip. It is what it is. It's not perfect. I didn't expect these to turn out perfect my first try, but I am very impressed with how crisp and clean those smile lines are. So I'm going to activate all of these nails, apply a top coat, and I'll be back to show you the finished result. But I want to know your guys' thoughts. What do you guys think about this French tip cutter tool? Alright, so here's what it looks like applied. I did use sticky tabs to apply these press-ons, so I'm not liking how you can see the sticky tab in my free edge, but if you were doing this on your own nails, you might like it a little bit better. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!